Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday night. It's time once again for the Throwdown. I am your host, the Ficus, otherwise known as Rodney Fike, and we have a huge cast of characters tonight on the show. We have my man Travis Gibb. We have Neil Allen
Mockerman.
Mockerman.
Pronounce it like it's a K.
Mockerman. All right. We've got Dan Schmidt, and we have Austin Allen Hamlin.
Bingo.
Those three names always get me. So we are here tonight, and we're here to talk about the Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales, Grimm Fates Volume 2? Travis? 2?
Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales 2, yes. Grimm Fates is like kind of its subtitle, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go around the panel real quick and let everybody introduce themselves and tell us what they're known for real quick. So, Travis, let's start with you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm Travis Gibb. I am the publisher of Orange Cone Productions. I made this silly book and put it together. I am known for a couple other books besides this. This is probably the one I'm most known for, second being Granite State Punk, Voodoo Nation, Broke Down, but I also run large communities. I run Indie-tober and do a whole bunch of other cool things. So I do a lot of stuff.
Awesome. Sounds good. Neil, let's go to you, buddy.
All right. I'm Neil Mockerman. I'm a writer, letterer, known for maybe nothing. I've written Doom Speaker and Cog and Flame, and we have a kids series out called Fort and some other stuff in the works right now.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right, Dan, let's go to you, bud.
Yeah, hi, Dan Schmidt. I self-published a couple of graphic novels, Worms Crawl In and Worms Crawl Out. Currently, I letter the book Immortal Era by Ed Davis. Just completed a book with him that is not yet out called Floaters. Also do some work with another book called Frontier Forever. And of course, work a little bit on these Cthulhu books with Travis.
Nice. Sounds good. All right, Austin, let's go to you.
Hi, I'm Austin. I've written a bunch of comics that you've never heard of, and that's fine. I don't expect you to know who I am. You probably shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything better than that. Yeah.
Okay, that's good enough.
That's not true, Rodney. He's friends with Phil Hester. He should brag about that. I was friends with Phil Hester.
That's a card I would use, brother.
Right, I would use that card every day. He
Absolutely.
Does not.
All right, and
I'm actually more his friend to be friends with Phil Hester, to be honest. That is my long-term goal.
So.
For those of you that don't know who I am Rodney Fike. I am an artist and writer with Hasm Productions, working on books. Roadkill Rampage, when I've done books in the past, Peanut Pudding and Jelly, Unchained, Doghouse, as well as way back in the younger years. I did a superhero book called The Superior 7 back in the 90s. Yes, I'm that old. So been around for a while, done a lot of things. So that's who I am, and that's kind of what I do and what I've done. So tonight, we're here to talk about the big bumpy guy that goes bump in the night, Cthulhu. So Travis, this is kind of your baby. What was the genesis of this? Where'd this come from?
So it happened in an IKEA. Like
most things.
Right, like all good things.
Wait, you
We're
built
in the middle
this
of
in
the
an
maze.
IKEA?
No.
You really can't get anything at IKEA.
Right. Actually, we went for the meatballs. Heather and my wife had never been, so we went for the meatballs. We actually had no intention of buying anything. I don't think we even bought anything, to be honest.
Hey, the meatballs are solid.
Yeah, it was around our wedding time. I don't think we went for our anniversary or anything, but I think we were just around that area. I was like, let's go to IKEA. Anyways, we were walking around and sitting on the couches and eating some meatballs and hanging out and trying everything out. And she Broke Down was doing well, but I said I needed to get a trade on my table as quickly as possible. So she said, what kind of book do you think that you could get a trade quickly of? And this was the idea came. I was like, Cthulhu seems to do really well, on Kickstarter. I think if we mix that with things that public domain, people can use Cthulhu because it's public domain. If you mix that with some of these things, I think that we can do something really unique. So I contacted literally everyone I knew who was more talented than me. and I got them to sign on for Cthulhu Invades Oz, and we made that book, and it actually ended up being something a little bit more special than just an anthology, because all of us here have, at least in our dreams, to work on Marvel, or to work on Spider-Man or Batman or Daredevil or whoever your favorite character is. Maybe it's not, maybe you really hate the big two and you want to work on Spawn, but there is something from your childhood that you want to work on. And then I found that this kind of gets that itch for some people, right? Like, I'm probably not going to be able to write Spider-Man like I want to. I wrote Dorothy in Oz. I wrote, someone has written Alice and Tin Man, and Peter Pan and other books. I wrote Peter Pan. I know Dan's written Cinderella. Recently. No, Sleeping Beauty. Getting to be part of all these really, really cool things. John, you have an invite, by the way, if you check your whatever.
Yeah, come on, John, get on in here.
He has an invite.
We need to fill that middle spot.
Here, I can actually get to it right now. Yeah, so that's the premise of it, and it's grown to its own beast, right? We're on volume. This would be the 5th volume in the series. It doesn't seem any little bit to slow down, which is great.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, I know I was excited when you reached out to me and offered me. You reached out to everybody, and I threw my hat in the ring, and you picked me. So I was very grateful for that, because I had a blast with the story that I wrote. I've never written. I mean, Roadkill Rampage is a horror book, but it's different.
Right.
It's kind of a grindhouse kind of horror story, but this is I got to play with like thematic fear and stress in my story, which is pretty much the basis of Cthulhu. So I just had a blast with it. What about all you other guys, Neil? How about you, bud?
No, I completely agree with what you're saying. It's kind of my first foray into horror of any kind. I've written a couple scripts that I never did anything with, so it was nice to kind of get feet wet with that, a little short story, and I've been wanting to work on Travis's stuff, so yeah, it's just been a good opportunity so far.
Yeah. Austin, what about you, bud? What do you
hold on.
Oh, what?
Neil is bearing the lead. Hey, Cabert, you need to say where we met, and I promise this.
All right. So what was that? Cthulhu Invades Neverland?
No, it's Wonderland.
Wonderland.
Neverland's actually nominated this year. Well, we don't know yet, but hopefully it's nominated this year.
So when they were up for the Ringo in Baltimore for that, you had a whole crew there supporting you at the awards, enough to fill a whole table except for one seat. I was just kicking it, and I got put at their table, and so I became an honorary member. I believe I signed a couple of the books just for the hell of it that were around. We just got chit-chatting, and I must have been an okay table guest, so yeah.
So you
weren't the worst table guest, Neil.
I was far from the worst table guest at that table. Your wife told me my patchouli was nice. It wasn't too strong like it usually is.
Okay.
That was like the first thing she told me. I'm like, all right. So
you got your start as a chair filler.
Yeah. That's I took the chair filler job, and hell, here we are.
Yeah, we had a 12-seat table, and we had 11 slots, and we're like, they won't sell the one slot. Of course they did, and they sold it to Neil.
Yeah. I had never been to Baltimore Comic-Con. I knew two people that were up for Ringo's. Ellie Wright, who was doing colorists for Doomspeaker, was up for a Ringo, and I think Chaz might have been that year too. So just kind of hanging out, seeing. So
nice.
No, it's a good, weird experience that's led to some good connections.
That's good. So this is fun. Let's go around and let everybody tell how you met Travis. Austin, let's go to you, bud.
Well, I tried to think. So I was very aware of who Travis was before I met him, because I mean, like he's everywhere. You know, if you're any part of the comics making community, you will find him. So I knew who he was through seeing just his stuff on Kickstarter, and like I was always seeing his Discord that he has and different things. And I first started talking to him. I had a book published by Band of Bards, and I can't remember how his was out before mine. I can't remember how much more before mine, but then I kind of started chatting up with him through that. And that was how we've never actually met in person, so I've not been excommunicated yet. Yeah, that's how I met.
All right. What about you, Dan?
So I've never met Travis before. Hi, Travis.
That's not true.
I think we were on a couple of shows like this before in the past. No, I saw on the internet he was, doing a call for talent for some books or something like that, and then that's kind of how I got into his world.
But you're old school. I mean, you were doing when I was doing Broke Down before Cthulhu was even a thing. Dan and I were in the trenches together, okay, because you were doing work way back then.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Well, I met Travis pretty much similar to everybody else online, just kind of seen him everywhere. And at that point, we were doing a Throwdown hot and heavy, Sean Forney and myself, and was on a bunch of podcasts for all the Kickstarters and stuff that we were running. So that's kind of how I met Travis. And I have officially met Travis face to face. We actually broke bread together in Orlando this year at MegaCon. So we had dinner together with him and his lovely wife and 57 other people at a table that seats 12.
I go big. I have a posse.
You do. And you had a fabulous waiter that took very good care of us. And,
he was absolutely fabulous.
He was, and he hit on me several times, but that's okay. But yeah, it's okay. Travis, what else, man?
I can talk about what I think that this part is we kind of go over maybe the books and talk about them. I still don't know where John is. I sent him the StreamYard, so John is in the ether doing something. I don't know what he's doing.
Lost.
He's right.
So I think I'd like to talk about the books. I also want to show something that I just got in today. So we have about 30 people from the past Kickstarter. Maybe it's 40. 40 people who haven't got the campaign. One of them is Dan's dad because his dad didn't fill out the survey. We all know people like that. I just got that one. But we got the metal bookmarks, so I wanted to kind of show those. Oh,
sweet.
Cool. From the first volume. So those are really, really cool. I know Dan's package was delayed because he was waiting on it, so I just sent his up today. But aren't they cool?
They are very cool.
Yeah. They're all metal. But yeah, they're cool. This is what the new ones will look like as well, just with different characters.
Hang on a second. Tina's going to make you believe. There you go.
Big.
Nice.
I think, Dan, this is you too, this Cthulhu. That's from yours, right?
Oh, yeah. Nice. That looks awesome.
Very cool.
It's really, really cool. So these metal bookmarks are really cool. You can get them on the campaign. They're $7, but people tend to love them. They're different than the old ones. The old ones were... I got one here.
I'm going to flip my screen around and start drawing.
Yeah, you can start drawing. Yeah, go ahead. The old ones are just green. So.
Oh, wow. Eerie green. I love it.
Yeah, just green and stuff, which is cool. But these new ones, they just feel they feel more professional. Even though I kind of like this feel. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
No, they all look great.
Anyway. And then I think Dan, are you going to draw as well? I'm going to switch your screen, or
yeah, I can do that. What do we have a theme other than Cthulhu? Just the monster.
I think Rodney's just drawing the monster. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I just picked him today. I was like, well, okay, let's do Cthulhu. Let's do the big guy.
Let's do the big guy. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about stories of what people are doing. I'm going to run the show a little bit so Rodney can, focus on drawing, which is really cool. Because the normal aspect of the show, if you don't know, is like Rodney will get two people and they'll just kind of counter draw for each other. They'll kind of like do a talking and like drawing battle. Correct? It's a throwdown kind of.
Yeah,
Not like a real battle.
yeah. We don't do sketch offs anymore. We it's probably in the near future. We've talked about it. So
Okay.
that the battle seems to draw a bigger audience. So I think we're gonna probably go back to that.
I think people just love people drawing. I think that's a thing.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
let's talk to Austin. Austin,
Hi.
you're in the thing. Actually, we can share the link too. Tina, can you share the link out?
Yes.
All right.
And actually, can I? I'm going to present if that's okay as well, so I can show the campaign and talk about some stuff on it. Trying to get to 50 backers today, guys. Not 350, but I'm trying to get the back number to 50. And Austin's doing nothing, which is
I tried.
I'm
I'm gonna do more. You're gonna get more videos.
But we're
Austin, I
like,
need you to create 7 fake Kickstarter accounts. Oh no,
we're at 343.
Oh, heck.
we lost everybody for a minute.
Oh, we here.
Yeah, keyboard. There we go.
Yeah, I've got my screen shared. If I can do it, then I can kind of take over for a second.
Hold on a sec. I had too many keyboards. I had to get rid of the keyboard. Sorry.
There we go. So this is Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales. We've unlocked a whole bunch of stuff. Again, we're trying to get that 50 today, 350 backers, so we can unlock a new digital comic. We've got some cool characters in here. We've got 3 little pigs. You got the Frog Prince. We've got Sleeping Beauty. Luckily today we've got like 2 of the cover. We've got Sleeping Beauty, who's on 2 of the covers, which is done by Dan, who's here, and we've got the other cover is Jack of the Beanstalk, which is done by Rodney. So we've got a lot of peeps in here that were cover worthy. Oh, even Austin's Frog's here.
Hey, it is. I didn't catch that on that one.
Well, let's be clear, Travis. I didn't do the artwork on my cover.
No, I know, but it's your story. You did Jack.
I mean, I could take credit for that awesome cover, but somebody will call me out on it. I don't want
Right, your style. I think Irwin has a very unique style that it's very hard to duplicate. And dude, all I gave him was like I looked up Jack and the Beanstalk and I saw an angle I wanted. I was like, I want this angle.
Yeah.
It's like, I got you, fam. And then this was literally, he did this book, that cover, this mother effer did it in 24 hours.
Holy crap.
That's crazy.
That cover was done fully colored in 24 hours.
That's impressive. Very impressive.
It took 3 days, but only because I messed with the colors and decided that he knows what he's doing. Because that's what us writers do sometimes. We mess with things. I was trying to get more of a glow on it on the beanstalk, and it just didn't look right because it makes it look less realistic, which goes against everything else in the picture,
Right.
All right, so let's go through here. So we've got Beauty and the Beast, and then we've got the Frog Prince. This is the requested image that Austin wanted.
It's eye grabbing.
Hey now,
who doesn't like frogs?
Austin, what's your story about?
So, man, I want to start before I talk about my story that I just did a Substack post about this weekend. I did a newsletter about how I really wanted to be a part of this, but I don't have an affinity for H.P. Lovecraft at all. I'm sorry. Please don't stop. I get why people like it, but it's not really my thing. And so that's kind of really one of the, I wanted to be a part of this because I like Travis. A ton of my friends are in this, a ton of talented people that I just am a fan of. But I think it would be fun to tackle something that you don't necessarily have a love for and try to make it your own in a way. And I feel like I did with this. I I mean, it's the Frog Prince. I mean, who doesn't know that story of kiss me and I'm actually a prince? And that's literally what this story is. It's pretty much essentially the same. It's just the reasoning. And the only thing I'll say that won't give anything away is that, like the first page, the princess shows up and she's like, I'm here to kiss you. And he's like, Frog is like, dude, it's been 4 years and I've been trying to convince you to kiss me. What changed? And that's what the joke of the story is about what changed to make her suddenly believe that he was a prince.
Nice. Now I'm intrigued.
Nice. Yeah. And again, this image was the image that was very important to Austin. The other, I'll even give some behind the scenes. Somebody else had this story. A really good friend of mine, a very, very talented writer. I won't throw him on blast, but he didn't get it done. He missed several deadlines. And then finally, I came to him and said, hey man, I'm going to have to put you for the project. He's like, oh, I'll get it over the weekend. And I was like, man, there's a lot of people. And Austin was a guy who I was thinking in mind who would be really excited to do this. And you didn't get it done. You missed several deadlines. It's not one. I'm not just like abandoning you. Like you missed all the deadlines. We should be in art. So I'm going to pass. The artist is messaging me going, hey, am I out of the book? Did you kick me? Because the artist is ready to go. And then Austin came in really excited and got the script together really fast and really pulled it together. And I think it's a fun story in there. And we just got all the colors the other day and they look great. So
awesome. Yeah, it looks awesome. That was actually another really cool thing about this is like I have in my creating outside of this, I've always been so used to I've got to find an artist, which is as fun as that is. Sometimes we all know how challenging it is to find a collaborator sometimes because of timing or whatever. And so it was kind of cool where he's like, hey, I want you to write this thing. Here's who will be drawing it. Like, can you do it? And it was like, oh, I just have to worry about writing this for once. Absolutely. Yes. You got me.
Sign me up.
Yes, exactly.
Right. No, it's good times. It's good times. All right. So next up we got Sleeping Beauty. So Dan did this. So an interesting story before I have Dan speak is Dan was in the first one and I paired him up just like Austin just talked about with a writer. But Dan is a good writer himself. In fact, he's done a broke down story for me. He's doing another broke down story for me. His own creator own work is amazing. So the worms crawl out, right? Or they crawl in?
They do both.
Okay, they do both. All right, okay. I was like, I don't want to mess up this title, but which one is it? Okay.
Yeah, the first one is worms crawl in, and then the follow-up is worms crawl out.
Okay, so I am not crazy. All right. But yeah, so Dan, which I think you in the first volume you did art twice, right? Because somebody else hired you.
Yeah, accidentally. I had done one story about the 3 Billy Goats Gruff.
Right.
And then there was another writer, David, and he was looking for an artist as well. And I was like, oh, I got some time. So I accidentally ended up in the book twice.
Yeah. And then this new one you're in twice as well.
I am. So I did the Sleeping Beauty story, the Little Briar Rose. Went back and did some research on the original story from the Brothers Grimm to understand kind of what the material was. Went through a bunch of those H.P. Lovecraft stories to find if there was any kind of a good match with that story. And I found, a lot of people are familiar with the color out of space or something, the color from outer space or something like that. So anyways, the two kind of matched up with as far as how they could work together. So I was like, oh, this could be fun. Did the mashup, put the two together. I think it's rather close to both. If you when you read the story. So it was a lot of fun doing. It's a lot of fun in general doing a lot of these mashup stories, like finding these old fairy tales and then the proper kind of mix with the Cthulhu stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
No, I love it. I think it's great. I think your style fits it. Your style is like when I think of fairy tales, the way you draw fairy tales, and this isn't the style that you always use. I mean, the people look but your fairy tale style is when I think of fairy tales. When I think of Grimm fairy tales, this is what I think of. So your art style.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, the next up we got here is Jack and the Beanstalk, Cthulhu Stalk.
Yes.
Tell us about that one, Rodney.
Hang on, let me flip my camera back around to. Okay. I saw the list of stories that you posted, and that immediately, as soon as I saw that on the list, the story came to me, and I don't know where it came from, but I was like, you must allow me to do this story because it's already there. It's the story of, and we all know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. It's just a story of desperation and just trying to find a way out, and wrapping that around the Cthulhu theme to me was a no-brainer, and that's exactly what it is. He's trying to dig himself out of his hole, and I went back and honestly I haven't read H.P. Lovecraft in probably 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a book that a friend of mine gave me for my 20th birthday. Oh, wow. And it's been on my bookshelf for 20 years. And I haven't probably touched it in a couple of moves. And so I pulled it out and I read the story, and I read a bunch of other stuff, and I was like, I really don't need to read it because I already know what I'm doing. But it helped me with the imagery that I wanted to portray in the narrative.
Right.
Just that sense of foreboding doom, So that's just what I ran with, and it's woven all throughout the story, and it was fun to weave it, and yeah. So I had to have a complete blast.
Yeah, you get to work with the Orange Foot Staples, the Bag Brothers. They do Our Book Expired, and they've done some other stuff. And they are hardworking people. They're a little slow, and I'm not throwing shade. They admit it. If you hire them, they'll tell you they're a little slow,
yeah.
But they get it. And I've never had a better experience than your wife, which she's a great wife, going, where is this? Where's that? And I'm like, I'm not worried. It's fine. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're yelling at people. I see you yelling at people. I was like,
yeah. What's funny, I talked to, I believe it was Sean. We had a phone conversation, and he told me, he warned me. He said, look, I've got this and this and this going on, and yada, 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 and this and that and the other. He said, you'll get mad. You'll think that we're not working on it, but we are. And then we're going to blink. You're going to blink and you open your eyes and it's going to be there. And that's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
But you told me how it was going to go. And that's exactly how it went. So when Tina was worried about it, I just kept telling her, baby, Sean and Travis both said, don't worry. It's going to be there. It's going to get done. And sure enough, there it was. It got done.
Yeah, my wife would be the same thing. She wants to know that things are going, but yeah, the Bags, that's their process. They're slow, but when it's your time, when they can get to you, like they'll get to it. Yeah. And sometimes they'll give you a burst of like 4 pages, and then you won't see them for a little bit, but then you get a burst. You'll get it kind of all at once, kind of all done. And
yep. That's exactly how it was. It came in like bursts of 3 pages.
Right. So, but that's good. All right. Next up, we have Edwin Davis, and he's got the Midas's Touch, which is always a great story. We've got Tom Thumb here from Luke Henderson, which is great. We've got Ananazi and the Turtle, which is a really close African. We've got Hans and the Hedgehog, which, man, that story's wild. I can't even tell you. We got the Three Little Pigs, a classic, which I actually just had, which is an interesting one. I actually asked a favor from Dan. Ryan Wolf, who you guys all know, do my book Upheaval. Love the guy. He's a great creator. He's colorblind, so he had some problem making in my opinion, the pigs weren't quite pink enough. and Dan did me a favor and went and made them a little pinker in the actual book. And that's one of the things that I love about this book is building trust and commitment where I can go, hey man, you know, can you fix this for me? And he did it done really fast. And it's about making the book better. And I appreciate that from all of you guys, not just him, but everyone.
Yeah, and I think we all want the best product possible. So we understand that working together is going to make that happen. So
yeah, no,
you don't
no
want to
doubt.
be the weak link on this thing because everything's so good in it. You don't want to be the one that wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And then number 2, so this is, you know, we just talked about the opposite of me, right? Where I'm not worried about, hey, Brian Wolf, he heard us talking about him.
His ears were burning.
Say his name and he appears.
So one of the things that I do, I plan these books way in advance. So I was planning 3, Cthulhu Invades 2 and 3, and we're planning on working on kind of at the same time. But the tariffs hit me, and that's why Cthulhu Invades, the first one, just kind of scared me, got me a little off my kilter. And 2 of the people for Volume 3 got to work and finished their stuff. So as a reward, I threw them in this book. We made this one a 22 story book instead of 20, which was my original plan, just 20 stories per book. It's kind of a reward for doing the work and getting it done. And that's how Dan got a second story on this one. So Dan, tell us about the Goose Girl.
Yeah, the Goose Girl. So that is a really long fairy tale. It is one of the longer ones, in my opinion. It's a very interesting one, and there's a lot of detail that goes into it. So it's written by David Galliano. Hope I pronounced his name right.
You did.
Who is a great writer. I've seen his work before, worked with him a little bit before on some shorts. And he was able to take a lot of that core story of the Goose Girl and really distill it down into the pages for a short story. Did a really great job. There's a surprising amount of symbolism in this short story, which I thought was really great. Again, part of what David had intended for it. So it's about the Goose Girl. Of course, there's Cthulhu kind of mythos in there about, I believe it has to do with a god in yellow that is out there in the universe somewhere. I think that's the H.P. Lovecraft part of it. So this was like a fabulous story to work for. What's that? The King in Yellow, yeah. So this was a great story, fun to work with. Like I said, it's got symbolism in there. It was challenging because David wanted to have stained glass windows in there as part of the illustration. So I was like, wow, how am I going to do this? So I think we made it work. One of my favorite stories that I've done in my career here with doing comic books. It was really fun.
But I have to ask, and I'm hoping David gets on a show so I can ask him. There is 0 goose in this story. So the legend of the Goose Girl is kind of weird because it doesn't really, the goose aren't critical to the story. I'm not sure why the brothers Grimm called it the Goose Girl. No,
it's the job that she had, right?
No, but there's no goose drawn in the story. There's 0 goose.
I think they're in the background. They're in the background in like 2 panels.
Isn't that what's flying over the castle in the little thumbnail there? Those are geese.
Those are
sure. Let's go with that.
It's a flock of geese. Okay, all right. So here is the secret to get into any of my projects, just in case you've never done it before. Go to me and go, all right, I sat at your table. You promised me something. And, I'll be like, yeah, but, I was drinking, I didn't mean what I said, I talked to, did my wife agree, because she's a co-pub, she, owns a company with me. And you're like, yeah. Neil's like, yeah, your wife really liked me. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, I'm bringing Walter Osley. Oh, yeah, of course, Neil. Like, I have a spot for you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, perfect. It worked for that. It worked for hospice. It's great. Yeah, it's the one card I have to play.
You give me Neil, and you got me. You give me Walter Ostley, and I got you. So tell us about it, brother.
Yeah. So our story is based on the Crow and the Pitcher. When we saw the list, it was that or the Elves and the Shoemaker, and I really tried to sell Walter on Elves and the Shoemaker story of the old shoemaker going crazy and making people skin shoes and blaming it on elves, and he didn't seem too hip to that story, but he was intrigued with our Crow and the Pitcher idea. Basically, in the original story, the crow drops pebbles, I believe, into a pitcher that has a little bit of water to get it to rise up. Is that yeah, that sounds right. So he can drink it. I know what I write about. And then
the water rises up, and then he can drink it because it's at the water.
Exactly. So, being a Cthulhu-based story, like, we wanted the character to be giving more and more, and in this case, it's lives or his crew as he gives more and more in front of the big Cthulhu idol for the ultimate gift to rise up to him to get. So it was a fun little story. We decided to use dwarves to link it fully into that, and the dwarves' names that are briefly mentioned in are actually the original dwarves' names in the stories. So we just wanted to throw that little nod back to the original 7 dwarves there, and we named the boat the Crow. So there, it's all linked in nicely.
It's all tied together.
Yeah.
But I love this story. It's super fun. It's super violent, super cool. It's actually one, if you go to the top of the campaign, there you could actually read the preview comic. It's in that preview comic. So you can actually read the full thing right now, which is great.
Yeah, Walter did an amazing job with the art, as always. And it's fun, it's gory. It's everything you want.
So the next one is the one that I did. I did kind of a preview of what's coming next. So for the next volume, it's going to be Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales 3 into the nursery, and we're going to mix some nursery rhymes. And so this is the first kind of tease of what that's coming. And I did Baba Black Sheep with the good and talented Kurt Belcher. I love his very, very interesting art style. He does kind of like hard lines. He does a lot of hard lines. And I've always wanted to work with him, but I never had a story that kind of fit his kind of lines. But I did this very, very dark, ritualistic Baba Black Sheep story. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. It's got cultists and sacrifices and all the things you need for Cthulhu. Next up, we've got the Tooth Fairy. We've got Martha Swartz coming and doing Tooth Fairy. This is kind of the other thing that we added. There's things that aren't necessarily fairy tales, but they're kind of like universal stories, like leprechauns or Tooth Fairy. So we added some of those in, like kind of sprinkled them in, because those are ones that we won't ever do books on. So like let's allow people to have an opportunity to do little things like that, and that's one of them. We have the musician on Brenner. That's Lee Newman, and John Roening did some really cool stuff. We've got the Doom Rider, which is a wild story that you can read if you'd like to see full male genitalia. That's the one. Well, that's what you're looking for. Yeah, you're interested, Austin?
Yeah, wieners, man. There's not enough wieners in comics. That's a deal I will die on. It bugs me.
We gave boobs in volume 1, so we felt like we needed to give it back for volume 2.
I mean, I'm not a fan of wieners, but there are people that are. So why should we exclude people like that?
Why didn't we use that as the tagline for volume 2? Now with more wieners.
No.
Yeah.
Now with more wieners.
100% more wieners.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I assume based off the way the bags use it, that the beanstalk is also a ween, but I'm not 100% sure.
It's open for interpretation.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
That's good.
The next we've got the great Matt Harding. If you don't know him, he's done stuff. He did a Batman story. He is a very talented artist. And I said, "Hey, Matt, would you like to do a story?" He's like, "Absolutely. Here's a script." And I was like, "But you draw things?" He's like, "Yeah, you got that Etienne guy. I like him. Let's have him draw things." But okay, that's fine. But it's a great story. Matt Harding, he's going to be one of those dual talents who can do both. Like Dan here, like it's annoying, super annoying. Like when they don't need people like Austin and Neil and myself. Rodney doesn't need us either. He can do it all himself if he wants to.
Yeah, sometimes.
He chooses not to most of the time, but he can.
Well, yeah, I guess.
That's a deeper story that you're not ready to delve into tonight.
Tina just has to throw him under.
But we also got.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Am I throwing people under the bus or no?
No, I said Tina needs to throw Rodney under the bus.
All right, next up we've got. Okay. The next up we got the Mouse, the Bird, and the Sausage, which is a wild story that apparently needed mechs. We had Oscar Ozar do it. It is a wild story, much like Brian said, Cthulhu beef sausage. I assume that he was talking about this and not about that other subject we were talking about.
Sausage, not wiener.
We got the Red Shoes, bringing Stoney Williams and Ben back. What's that?
Said sausage, not wiener.
I mean, technically, as a former butcher here, there could be wiener in sausage, and you wouldn't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Just throwing it out there.
We got the Doom Prince with Josh Wilson, he's great. Josh Wilson was nominated for a Ringo the year before. He's a great writer. He brought his creative team from that Ringo nomination to make a cool story called the Doom Prince. We've got the Gingerbread Man from Adam Barnhart from Shit Show from Scout. And then we've got Jimmy Gasparo doing The Lady or the Tiger. And Jimmy is just a podcaster from the Comic Book Yeti, but dude, that man can write. He's very, very talented. I'm so happy to get him in here. But yeah, that's what we've got for this volume. The rewards are here, $29, $35. We're not going to go into the rewards. You're either going to buy or not. Digital starts at $12. Cheapest book starts at $39. But it's good stuff, and you can get all the old books here. So it's cool. You can even get the last volume if you want. So you can see some. And look, we do a signing, which is nice, and we all hang out and we sign books. So,
there you go.
But yeah, I'm proud of this book. I'm always proud to be doing. Hey, look, we got a backer. Look at that.
A backer, nice.
So, but yeah, this book is one near and dear to me. I love doing it. I love being part of creating it with everybody, and building the universe of Cthulhu Invades. We're expanding it a lot in the future. We have a lot more books coming out in it because it doesn't seem to be slowing down. People seem to enjoy it. People get excited about it coming out. People are always asking me for a slot to be able to write or draw on it. So I think as long as that keeps happening, we'll keep doing them.
The quality of the book and the art and the writing and the breadth of the stories is amazing. So for anyone who's looking to get that kind of experience, the anthology where you get so many different stories, so many different creators, different art styles, it's a fantastic opportunity for creators, but it's a great opportunity for fans too, just to read something and get one book and have so much variety in it. It's awesome.
Yeah, the fun thing is for years and years and years, people used to say, "Oh, anthologies don't sell. Anthologies don't sell. Don't do an anthology."
Everybody says that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, fellows, but I think that's kind of changed. I agree. The amount of talent that's on this project is just insane. and even going back and reading, the other volumes that we got from the other Kickstarters, just the talent's there, man. And if you're not picking it up, well, what's wrong with you?
Well, I also think that when someone says, I think, and I do think that there's a problem with anthologies, but a lot of times people are just throwing things together, right? They'd be like, our theme is space. Here's our space anthology. Okay, well, that's a vague term. There's a lot, space is a lot of things. This is our fantasy anthology. This is our Western anthology. I think people just want a little bit more when they do anthologies these days, when they back an anthology. Yeah. I think that's what we offer. We offer a story, we offer retelling to your classic fairy tales here, and getting all that stuff done. And we needed to give Austin work. He was just sad.
Still sad, but getting closer.
Yeah. And I needed to be closer to Neil because, we've made a lot of jokes here, but like the next year at Baltimore, he literally was looking outside at the baseball game, watching the Baltimore Ravens play. I don't know who they were playing, but could literally watch it out of his window. And he's just like, this is the hotel they give me. They treat me really well in Baltimore.
They treat me nice here in Baltimore.
Right. I invited him out. He's just like, there's a baseball game going on that's literally out my window. Why would I come?
I mean, that, and I go to bed like now. So, yeah.
So let's look. So do we got 3 eyes on there, Dan?
Yeah, 3 eyes. Yep.
All right.
I think in the original drawing by H.P. Lovecraft, he maybe accidentally drew 3 eyes on it.
Okay.
So I stick with that. I think it's on the bookmark as well.
On your bookmark? He does have 3 eyes. Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I loved about your stuff is yours was really unique.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I try to stick close to the original source material. So if you ever look it up on the internet, the drawing that he did of Cthulhu is just a kind of it's very different than what we commonly see as Cthulhu being like this giant muscle monster like Godzilla.
But I think
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, when I started drawing this today, that's kind of how I always picture him. Is you're never going to see his entire body. That's how I picture, Cthulhu. So when I was doing this, I was like, well, I'm just going to kind of do a zoomed in shot of his head and a little teeny tiny ship here in the foreground. But yeah, it's just, I think that just adds to the eeriness of it all, just that's it. You don't really know what you're dealing with because you can't see it all.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like Cthulhu is part of your dreams if he ever wakes up, It's interesting in this anthology, though we focus on Cthulhu, a lot of people, and I encourage people to do it, some people just do H.P. Lovecraft creepy. They don't actually add Cthulhu elements. They add like that Lovecraft style, which is fine. And then some people do like the King in Yellow, as we talked about earlier, or they add like Deep Ones or some of the other creatures, which all is acceptable. And I want people to get that. I want people to get a deep dive into these characters. In fact, when I've done some of the ones in the past, I've really said, hey, we need to have more than just Cthulhu. People get bored if the last panel of every Cthulhu story is Cthulhu coming in, right? Right. You got to do more than that. So
I get it.
But yeah, I think we've got. If we could share the link out one more time, I think we've done all we've got to do. I think we've shared it. We've talked about it. We went through the campaign.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, guys, I'm going to go around the circle and tell everybody where you can be found on the socials. And Travis, let's start with you.
Yeah, I am the best place to find me is at travisgibb.substack.com or at orangegroundproductions.com. That's where I talk the most about our stuff, and talk about the books or what we're doing and what we're working on. But right now, I want you to go to cthulhuinvades.com and back to comic.
All right, sounds good. Dan, let's go to you.
I don't know where to find me. Geez. Go to internet search for Worms Crawl Out, or you can go to Instagram and go to at Dan_Schmidt_art. That's my Instagram handle.
Fair enough. Neil, what about you?
On most of the social medias, it's Neil Mockerman Comics or just Neil Mockerman. You can find me. Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Substack. I'm around.
All right, good enough. All right, folks, as you all know, I am Rodney Fike. You can find me right here every Wednesday night on the Throwdown. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Rodney Fike Art. So come check us out. And Travis and Neil and Dan, this is the Fike is saying so long, everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.